Hello, my name is Susan Gray, and I must admit I'm not your typical alternative student or middle-aged housewife. At heart, I'm a car girl. My husband and I in our spare time enjoy showing classic cars at local car shows. So my first impulse was to speak on car commercials and how they influence our buying as consumers. Of the 7 principles of persuasion, I'll be discussing the principles of authority, contrast, scarcity, and liking as they relate to car commercials. For several years, all of us have become familiar with Mike Rowe as the host of Dirtiest Jobs, but we may also recognize him as a successful spokesperson for Ford Motor Company. He represents one of the principles of persuasion in that he has positioned himself as a person of authority. Mike Rowe proclaims to own a Ford truck and speaks of how Ford truck is so tough, durable, how it can stand up under any treatment that you may give it. Because of his job with Dirtiest Jobs, we know that he's a risk taker, that he'll do anything. There's no job that he's refused to do that I know of currently. So he's actually presented himself as being that person of authority, and that he recognizes just how tough a Ford truck is. Pointing out the second principle of persuasion, we're going to touch on contrast. Mike Rowe, as well, in some of his commercials, goes to Chevrolet car owners and asks them to test drive a Ford vehicle. During the course of this commercial, he has people that convert from being a lifetime of Chevrolet owners, they convert over to being Ford owners. They speak of the better ride in the Ford, they speak of the better accessories, how much nicer it looks, how attractive it is, and how from now on they will be converted to buy a Ford. What better advertising than to contrast the Ford and the Chevrolet and have former Chevrolet owners convert over to Ford. So this method of contrasting the two vehicles and the person's reaction to it has been just overwhelming. If everyone else likes a Ford, why shouldn't I? Seems to be the thinking there. So far as scarcity, we noticed that Mike Ford also, in his commercials, is speaking of end-of-year closeouts and how there's only a few models left and how they're giving end-of-year discounts. So, we all want to rush and get the last of the model. There'll be no more 2011s. There will only be 2012s. So we want that new 2011. If we think there's only a few left, it motivates us to go forward and to really want what we perceive as not being able to obtain. As well, I want to touch on the idea of liking. This principle says that if we like a person who is presenting this commercial, then we're more likely to buy from someone who is likable. Mike Rowe has been presented as the guy next door. A little goofy, he's funny, he's someone that we all know. That makes him likable to the public, makes us want to purchase a vehicle from someone that we find likable. So to conclude this, we have to say that Mike Rowe, in his position as a spokesperson for Ford Motor Company, has encompassed all of these 4 principles that I have mentioned. The principle of authority, contrast, scarcity, and liking. He is an authority figure. He contrasts and shows us how much better Ford is over Chevrolet, and we have testimony from what we believe as everyday people. We also realize that there's not that many out there. At the end of the year, they're closing it out. They're going to offer us discounts, so we really want to purchase that vehicle. And Mike Rowe is a likable guy. He's a nice, lovable guy next door, down home, trustworthy. All of the things that we look for when wanting to believe a commercial, wanting to believe what someone says. So as we finish this up, we have to realize that all of these ploys have been used to influence us, the consumer, into buying a Ford vehicle. And so far, apparently, it has been very successful, as we notice that Ford has repaid a lot of debts and they're no longer in bankruptcy. So apparently, it has been very successful. And thank you for taking the time to listen to my speech today.